Sometimes out of the mouth of babes comes absolute truth. Unfortunately, when it comes to religion, the faithful make it their mission to stomp the simple truth out of the innocent and indoctrinate them into the dominant cultural delusion. We're mostly familiar with this when it comes to Christianity, but it happens in Islam as well. Let's watch.
Seeing is believing. So that means we shouldn't believe in Allah because we can't see Him.
I love how they keep using thunder, like this kid's accurate representation of reality is something to be feared. The fact is, nobody should ever believe anything without good evidence. But don't tell that to the fanatics. It's not unfortunate. In fact, it's quite the opposite. With the spread of secular education, we're seeing people finally realizing what some of us have known for a long, long time. That there's no reason to believe in any gods, that it's all superstitious nonsense, and that people need to rely on fact, not faith. Too bad this is such a hard concept for the religiously delusional to get through their heads.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Do you have a few minutes to speak?
Sure, I mean, it isn't like he's doing anything else worthwhile, is he?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. What's up?
Today in school, my teacher told me that seeing is believing. So that means we shouldn't believe in Allah because we can't see Him.
That's not necessarily true. After all, it is possible to see something, misinterpret what you've seen, and then believe something false. Conceptually, it's fine. You should always seek out objective, demonstrable evidence for anything that you believe, and in the absence of such evidence, you shouldn't believe. Of course, there's a lot of people out there who'd rather feel their way through life, regardless of whether or not their beliefs are factually correct, and I find those people reprehensible.
That's not true. Because there's so many things in this world that we can't see, but we still believe in them.
Now I know exactly where he's going with this. This is a very, very common apologetic tool, and it's stupid. That's why I said we need to seek out evidence for things that we accept into our heads. You don't necessarily have to see it with your eyes, so long as you can objectively demonstrate that it actually exists in the real world. And of course, Allah and other imaginary friends simply have no objective evidence whatsoever.
Let me give you an example. Your teacher that said that seeing is believing, and if we can't see something, we shouldn't believe in it. Does she have a brain?
I mean, never mind the fact that you could put her through an MRI machine and see her brain. Never mind that we know through experimental data that conscious beings all, without exception, have brains. Nah, you're just going to talk down to this kid and pretend you have a clue what you're talking about.
Yes.
How do you know?
Because when she speaks, she makes sense.
Which is a lot more than we can say for the religious.
So what? But can you see her brain?
No.
So that means your teacher doesn't have a brain, because she said seeing is believing, but you can't see her brain.
Obviously, this is a battle of wits between an 8-year-old and someone whose ridiculous beliefs render them 8 years old emotionally.
That's true. We can't see the teacher's brain, but we still believe that she has a brain.
But you don't have to believe. You can go verify that fact. Now try doing that with Allah. What objective test can we perform that will prove that Allah actually exists? Let me know when you come up with one.
So was your teacher's statement that seeing is believing correct?
No.
Yes, it's very important that we brainwash our children when they're young and have no defense. Once they reach the age of reason, if you haven't completely indoctrinated them into your ridiculous beliefs, you've probably lost them. And that's a good thing. Oh, parents know if their children have been indoctrinated with evil. That's why they teach their children to question everything and seek out evidence before they believe it. You know, rational people. Here's a clear reminder. This guy is a lunatic who simply doesn't understand the basis of logic and rationality. He's arguing with a child, and the only reason he wins is because the kid is intimidated and a bad actor, but we'll forget that one for the moment. But it's this kind of simplistic thinking that marks the religious as intellectually inferior to the rest of us who know how logic works and can see straight through these really weak arguments. How they actually impress anyone is beyond me. But let's be honest, when you shove your ridiculous religion down the throats of your children, you're doing them a tremendous disservice. They don't learn how to think for themselves, and the religious don't want them to. They just want blind adherence to an emotionally comforting concept, whether it has any validity or not. There is no real discussion about the existence of Allah here. It's a shallow argument between two people who, let's face it, have equivalent levels of intellectual maturity. If this is supposed to impress anyone, I have no idea who would fall for such a weak position. Oh yeah, the people who don't care about facts. They only care about emotional comfort. However could I forget?